Hi everyone, this is Mr. Hardin of Hardin's Manga, here to tell you about Hima-Ten Volume 1. Our cover shows one of the lead heroines of Himari Yoshino with a beautiful smile, nice long orange hair, and some pretty colored squares and stars to back her up. Though the opening pages tell us a bit about Himari and that she's a president of a fancy makeup company, we actually are following our male lead Tanichi Imori, who is cleaning houses part-time. Tanichi has a much more mellow look with that of black hair, a slender body, and he's fairly tall. And from these opening pages, he's clearly great at household chores. Honestly, he's just drawn very well. So now the question is, how will Tanichi and Hamari get to know each other? It will all be explained through this first volume in 7 very clean chapters. Chapter 1 continues to stay on track with Tanichi cleaning a house spotless. The art in the opening segment shines on facial features for Tanichi with how the mangaka draws him smirking, smiling, and laughing. The art almost feels reminiscent of series like Nisekoi and We Never Learn, two great manga series as well. But back to the story, Tanichi finishes his clean and heads home, where we get introduced to a younger sister, younger brother, and his mom. A discussion breaks out that lets us know why Tanichi is working so hard and even taking on an additional client. It's so that he can pay for his college tuition, which, hey, that's commendable. After some panels of being at home, we get to see Tanichi in action on his first day of school as a second year in high school. This is where we get introduced to Kanai, a black haired, smaller girl who will be important to the story, and someone Tanichi is excited to be in the same class with. But the big reveal is Himari joining the class, which gets a full page panel. This is the first of the series, and it shows how much care goes into drawing the main female leads in the story. Using the word cute a ton is how you could describe the art, but honestly, it's like seeing fluffy clouds. The art just feels inviting. Which, hey, the class agrees as everyone freaks out, seeing they have a famous person in their class now. As well, Tanichi is in charge of looking after her. Also, we learn that Tanichi isn't really on social media, as he finds out Himari is more of an icon than she's letting on, as she has over 800,000 followers alone on Instagram for her makeup brand. Afterwards, we get to see Himari shine a bit while she teases Tanichi, and her smile lights up like fireworks. This is also where Tanichi notices that she is really cute. Eventually, class ends, and Kanai, the girl from the hallway, is reintroduced. She's very willing to help Tanichi out with Hamari, since she is the substitute class rep. It's clear that the two get along, and we get a close up panel of how beautiful Kanai is as well. Throughout this series, you'll realize a lot of characters are just absolutely stunning. The conversation between the two is cut short, however, as their teacher bursts through, stating Himari is causing a scene in the lunchroom. So Tanichi has to go solve that. Tanichi is able to get Himari out of the lunchroom without causing a big scene, and we get a bit more of a heartfelt reasoning for why Himari is so happy to receive the praise about herself and her brand. It feels like she's doing a good job and is happy people are buying her product. It's a nice set of panels, as up till now we've really only seen Himari teasing Tanichi. Plus, Tanichi opens up a bit as Himari asks why he'd even accept the position watching her. His response being he really appreciates feeling like people can count on him, and that it will pay off one day. The two then go off to finish the lunch period and have a really casual conversation to end the school scene, leading up to the end of the chapter where we learn Tanichi's new client he'll be cleaning for is Himari. Himari is not happy about the situation, as now a boy in her class knows she lives in a dirty place. Tanichi suggests she gets another cleaner, but she's not letting him get off the hook in the beginning of chapter 2. Himari is showing another side of herself in the skepticism she's bringing on if Tanichi can even clean like he says he can. The difference in how she's drawn to is cool. Like it's clear change in body mannerisms and shows the mangaka is super capable of showing emotions outside of the text bubbles really well. Tanichi shows up with some knowledge on Himari's dust allergies by providing a light she can check his cleaning capabilities with afterwards. She agrees and disappears to her room, where a little bit of an accident between the two happens. Afterwards, Himari is even less trusting and is embarrassed by the situation, stating she feels like a hot mess because she had told him at school she needs nobody to watch after her. It's a cute interaction, as Tanichi looks absolutely lost in the sauce through the whole situation. Tanichi needs to buy some cleaning supplies, and upon return, we get to see a costume change for Himari into some at home clothes. The panel is fairly big and has an intense background, and even the at home clothes she has rocks with style, and no makeup is needed because, dog, she's in the working zone. We get to see the handiwork of Tanichi's cleaning, and the house is spotless. He also prepares dinner for Himari, and the food looks amazing. Himari feels awkward about the situation, but our leading lad is not having that because he sees how hard she works to be both a student and a president at the same time. Himari gives back Tanichi's phone that she had taken from him earlier, unlocking it, adding in her contact information, which feels like such a boss move, and is her way of accepting him as the house cleaner, which is how we end Chapter 2. Chapter 3 starts with Tanichi making a lunch for Himari that looks like she made it, even going so far as to meet in the library to exchange the food so nobody starts rumors. Eventually, we make it to class where, again, Kanai jumps into action to get some help from Tanichi to grab some paperwork. Himari also jumps into action in a very different way, as she's ecstatic with how cute Kanai is. Hey, though, that's fair, as she gives off a completely different vibe than Himari. The two contrast off each other very well for this series. Plus, the compliments give us a treat of a blushing Kanai panel, which is real cute. But more importantly, through the little taskings for the paperwork, we see Tanichi realizing that he wants to talk with Kanai a lot more. Which, hey, he is a boy after all. Though even he recognizes that Kanai gets close to Himari, it will be quite difficult to talk with her more. Then the big finale of this chapter is seeing Himari drool over the homemade lunch she gets to enjoy, even asking if Tanichi would continue to make them every day while returning the lunchbox in the library. But Kanai was there listening in. Chapter 4 starts with Kanai sighing as she gears up for her own job. Tanichi goes in to comfort her, and Kanai immediately swaps into asking what Himari and him were doing at the library. Tanichi scrambles a bit on the response, but Kanai is fine with that, even getting treated to some bigger panels of her stating that getting close to him is pretty easy. Himari sends a message to Tanichi, and he's sent to her for a shopping spree. Himari is in an oversized sweater disguise, so she's not recognized. Talk about being cautious so people don't find out about Tanichi. But they are there so his cleaning job can be done properly. It's a fun little segment going back and forth on what needs to be purchased. Eventually, Tanichi brings up that Kanai saw them at the library. For a brief moment, Himari is freaking out over the situation. For a brief moment. And then she just disregards the situation. As they leave, Himari suggests going to another store. This is where a pretty big bombshell is dropped that the lead does have a crush on Kanai. And oh snap, the one behind the register at this coffee shop, that's Kanai. And that's how we end chapter 4. Chapter 5 has a lot of charming character interactions. Tanichi is pretty raw in his emotions showing while talking with Kanai. And Kanai is seemingly just happy to be talking more with him. All through the quick conversation, the panels move so fluidly, it feels like you're in the thick of the conversation yourself as a reader, especially when Himari jumps in for her coffee. It is so smooth with her defense on how she ran into Tanichi. It's honestly a really clean fake out for her. They both leave coffee in hand as two girls recognize Himari following closely, and Tanichi learns that being famous is like having eyes on you always. She even loses her hat and stains her top from running so fast. What a bummer. Tanichi, though, with a smile in tow, says he can get that stain out, and we get a full page panel that will make your heart jump. We then get to jump back to Kanai's point of view and see she even made a little drawing for Tanichi that she decided not to put on his coffee cup. But the biggest thing is, she wishes she was the one next to him. Like, dang, I can feel the love in the air at the end of chapter 5. Chapter 6 starts with Himari claiming another of Tanichi's lunches as hers. The girls in class really want to see her cooking skills in action, and that's when the news from Kanai comes in that tomorrow's a home ec cooking class. Himari does not handle this news well, and the panel where she's crying is cute, to be honest. Tanichi offers to teach her the recipe, and they both scurry over to her place to start cooking. The lesson starts, and we get to see some impressive knife work out of Tanichi, and more tears from Himari, who does not handle chopping the onion very well. Eventually, we get to see the final cooked hamburg steak, and Himari's turned out real bad. She gets down on herself, even saying she might just skip class. Then a message hits her inbox from some of the girls in her group that are really excited for tomorrow's cooking, which our leading lady blushed up and gets ready for the war with food because now she's ready to show her best cooking skills. And she does just that, even letting slip how bad she didn't want to mess up when the class is finally started. Also, Tanichi is in a group with Kanai, and we get a clean 3/4 page panel of her big ol' smile. And even more rewards come for Tanichi. As a reward for teaching Himari how to cook a bit, she makes him a homemade meal, and she even stares him down from the stairs to make sure that what she made was good. The panel and sentiment of the meal is really nice, and it's a clean way to end the chapter. The final chapter is really fun. A new character is introduced right in the beginning of Mayu, Kanai's best friend, rocking some cool messy buns and a plushy intense bag on her. She's barreling into Kanai with a whole lot of noise and how excited Kanai was to be in the same class as Tanichi. It's a fun little setup and even gives us a pouting Kanai panel. Mayu, though, came on important business to let her friend know that she can't make it to a comedy show with her tomorrow, even saying she should just go with Tanichi. Kanai freaks out a bit, and Tanichi doesn't get the opportunity to state how he wants to go with her before she runs off. Then Kanai runs into Himari, dejected on screwing up asking Tanichi out herself. The two talk with probably the most real conversation of the whole volume. It happens to revolve around Kanai asking out Tanichi and giving her the confidence to actually do it. The panels are strong, and so is the story here, which I find the hook to go to Volume 2 is seeing these characters develop with each other. Back to the story though, after Kanai gets his confidence boost to actively ask Tanichi out, he says yes, of course, leaving us as readers a final treat getting to see Kanai dressed to the nines in her date outfit, and we all have to wait for Volume 2 now. Hima-Ten Volume 1 is like reading candy. It can't help but feel sweet. The thought of setting it down while you're reading won't even happen. The art is stellar, and the characters all feel unique. Plus, their designs are killer. When you do set the book down, you'll be reaching for Volume 2, hopefully. That's all I have for Hima-Ten. Did you enjoy the book? Let me know your favorite moment with a comment below. And this has been Mr. Hardin of Hardin's Manga. And remember, manga is for everyone.